another unfortunate event. The main magnet that is attached to the crankshaft is completely broken, which is why it got jammed. Good news, the crankshaft, the engine is not jammed. That was the first assumption, but luckily it is just this piece of magnet that is jammed. That is a major headache off our shoulders. If only things were that simple. This is the first time the engine has been completely disassembled. Thanks to Nagu Bullet Works. Sir is holding the camera. So here we have the engine completely disassembled. This is the crankshaft as it is. That's some weight. And this is the first time I've ever seen my bike's crankshaft ever. And as you can see, the connecting rod is moving, it's loose. Here's the piston. As you can see, these marks indicate that they have been scratching the cylinder, the bore of the cylinder. Magic box. Major reason why the AVL engine was not popular among people was because of the tappet noise for the inlet and exhaust valves. Now, the cam mechanism, the whole thing. Now, this is the original AVL tappet. He is going to replace this with a cast iron engine tappet. See the difference? I wish I could tell you there's no way I can convey except in words the difference in weight itself. This is much heavier, and this is the thing that goes over this thing. This way. I'm sorry. And whereas for the AVL engine, there is this kind of thing, and this often gets broken, and this sits over here like this, which is a problem. This seems like a much more solid arrangement. So we are going to replace that with this.
Now, as I was spending time in the garage, I realized as bikes came and went, the tragic, debilitating, horrific effect of the Western version of capitalism. I have no qualms about businesses growing, but when shareholders get involved and returns are the ultimate goal and the quality of the products are compromised, as is the environment, you'll see this.
This is the chassis of a Bullet. It was perhaps made in the 80s, 90s. Strong stuff. Will work for another 100 years with no problems. On the other hand, this is a chassis of a relatively new Bullet, 2016 or so. If you notice, the chassis is broken. That's how weak the chassis of the bike is. And to further convey my point, this is another recently one of the 2000 something models, 2015 something, 17, 18, 19, whatever. The chassis was broken and it has now been mended after welding. So there you go. To further convey my point that the old Bullets were the real ones. They were made with strength, with reliability, as opposed to the new ones, which are doomed to fail.
Now, if you compare that to my first motorcycle, the same engine, but 2004 version of the Royal Enfield AVL engine. In 2015, I met with an accident, and these are the only photos I have of the impact of the accident on my motorcycle, because I was traveling around with the Nokia 1100 at that time. So that bike saved my life when the engine rebuild was done, and they did an absolutely terrific job.
Alright people, so finally my bike is ready. There is still some more stuff that I want to get done to make it look more like my previous bike, and I'll be back in just a few days. Until then, I found my handlebar, and the owner over here, Mr. Nagendra, he went far places to get this handlebar, which was very difficult to get. I thank you so much. He's an expert. I mean, he could tell immediately. The first time I brought this bike to the shop over here, he drove barely 100 feet over here, and that's okay. Yeah, he barely drove 100 feet when he could tell that there is something wrong with the crankshaft and the connecting rod, and turns out that was the problem, and that was what was causing the other problems. So that has been solved. While I have the expert himself over here, thank you so much. This is Mr. Nagendra Rao at Nagu Bullet Works. That's his shop in Atibele, Bangalore. And if you ever want expert level work done, be it the oldest bikes possible, as demonstrated over here, or to the newest bikes possible, as demonstrated over here, everything is covered, everything is serviced.
I told him that I don't really have much of an audience as of now, but one can hope, as do I, with this engine rebuild, that for the next 20 years, the engine will not need to be touched at all.